Hey, Nation back with Dave Sobel, who I recently saw at the Acronis CyberFit Summit Conference in Miami Beach. Hey, that was fun.
It was good fun. The team there put on a great event. They know what they're talking about, and actually released some cool new research too.
Yeah. In fact, I've got that down here. Let me show you. I've kept that handy. That was actually a real good study about MSPs. Takeaways from the conference from your point of view. What did you like? Maybe what did you see that maybe you would have done differently? I don't know.
Well, I mean, for me, I'll start with a research study. They did a really good job to show that. And they were talking a lot about the power of integration, less tools being actually a good strategy towards profitability. It makes intuitive sense. They did some research to show that. One of the big things I had to take away was they were talking about kind of a lack of trust. My question that I posed to the audience was, I actually want to move towards complete lack of trust. That's called zero trust, right?
Yeah.
I want there to be a mode where you're not by default trusting. You are in fact untrustworthy of the relationship.
Fair enough.
That's a healthy thing. Like, doesn't mean that I don't trust human beings in a business relationship.
I don't trust human beings. No, come on.
Well, but you know what I'm getting at, right? It's the I don't trust the technology to do what it says it does, because that's the correct way to approach this. Is that I want to, they say trust but verify. Yeah, verify. That's the important bit. So I thought that was a key takeaway for me. And then the other thing that I think is interesting is they're making very much a play around this idea of a security platform. They're investing in AI and ML and doing all the right kind of stuff from an alerting perspective. It's a really interesting play. It plays into hey, we're going to be a pure play security player. We're going to put forth a security platform. That's a unique, different strategy.
Yeah, it is. No, let's talk about that because, I have my analyst hat out of reach, but when I put that hat on, this was what was cool about going to IT Nation just after the Acronis event is, you have these, for the sake of this podcast, let's say 4 or 5 major platforms, maybe you could argue 2 or 3, right? But they're all encompassing. And Acronis wasn't necessarily in that same conversation. They're in a different lane. And I could say the same about Skykick and BitTitan. They're in a different lane. The word platform is overused, but I like the way you put it, that it sounds like Acronis wants to stay on the ranch and stay in their on their lane, and do it well. Right. And that's very different than ConnectWise or Datto.
Right. And by the way, I always like a strategy is we're going to do something and be really great at it. That's always a really strong strategy is to focus on what you're good at and be really great at it. You can't be all things to all people. Exactly. And, I don't like chasing, fantasies, the mythical single pane of glass. It doesn't exist. It is a fantasy. Let's not over rotate on focus there. Let's actually make sure that we're using tools that make sense. And we need to be careful by the data that it said. You've got to make sure that you're investing in just the right ones, because too many tools actually does drag down your business.
Yeah, no, I would concur. And you see it all the time in the secular business community. You turn on CNBC, and by analogy, I always felt General Electric was kind of that way. They were in aerospace, medical, electricity. Imagine that.
All right, and here they are being broken up. We look at the great study of the 20th century in leadership, and maybe it was smoke and mirrors as they are now breaking up to unlock shareholder value. There's a lesson to be learned there.
Funny how things come around full circle. So. Well, hey, my friend, appreciate you sticking with us, hanging with us. Let's head into 2022. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Looking forward to it.
All right.